The knock on my door came at 6:45 a.m. Through the peephole, I spotted two people in dark suits, each holding a badge. Federal agents. "We're looking for Linda Cartwright," the woman said calmly. I opened the door, still half asleep. "She lives 3 houses down," I told them, pointing to the gray colonial with the perfect hedges and that ridiculous garden flag. They thanked me and headed that way, just as I saw Linda herself strutting down the sidewalk, humming to herself with a familiar brown box tucked under her arm. My box, the one that vanished off my porch yesterday. She didn't see the black SUV pulling up beside her. She had no clue what was about to hit her. Let me back up a bit. My name is Ryan Lee. I work remotely as a federal contractor from my home office in Maple Ridge Village, a suburban neighborhood where the houses look like cloned dollhouses and the HOA rulebook could kill a man if it fell off a shelf. I handle secure data analysis for various government agencies. That means I get encrypted hardware and classified materials shipped directly to my home office. Everything shows up in very clearly marked, signature-required packages. For 3 peaceful years, everything was fine, until Linda Cartwright muscled her way into the HOA president role 6 months ago. Linda is the type who carries a tape measure in her purse to check lawn lengths, and once fined my neighbor for a mailbox that was too whimsical. She dubbed herself the neighborhood's unofficial security chief, insisting package theft was an epidemic in Maple Ridge Village. "We have to be vigilant," she declared at the last HOA meeting, dripping with smug authority. The red flags popped up quick. My Amazon deliveries started vanishing. At first a book here, a phone charger there. Then a care package my sister sent disappeared entirely. I figured it was just porch pirates, so I installed a doorbell camera. That's when I caught her, Linda, in broad daylight, strutting up my driveway, plucking my boxes like apples off a tree, without so much as a glance around. At the next HOA meeting, I confronted her. "Linda, you took my packages." On camera, she waved her manicured hand like she was swatting a fly. "Ryan, I was simply safeguarding the neighborhood. You know how risky, suspicious deliveries can be. Safety first." She said it loud enough so every nosy neighbor would hear, implying I was bringing shady things into our precious suburb. "Those were personal deliveries," I shot back. "You had no right to touch them." She smiled, dripping fake sweetness. "They're safe in the HOA office. You can fill out a retrieval form if you'd like." A retrieval form? For my own mail. I tolerated her petty power trip until a week ago when something serious went missing. This wasn't a new phone or a box of cookies. It was a delivery from the Department of Defense, encrypted comms equipment for a high-level project I was consulting on. The tracking said it was delivered. Signed for by L. Cartwright. My stomach dropped through the floor. I ran straight to my security feed. There she was strutting off my porch, signature fresh on the slip, the box tucked under her arm like she'd picked up dry cleaning. This time, I skipped the HOA circus. I called my federal handler. "Tom, we have a problem," I said, explaining every detail. There was silence on the line. "She took a DOD shipment?" His voice went icy. "I have video, the signature receipt, everything." "Send it. Right now." 20 minutes later, Tom called back. "Ryan, do not confront her. Do not touch the package if you see it. We're activating Protocol 7. Protocol 7 means federal action." By noon, my sleepy suburban street looked like a scene out of crime drama. Unmarked sedans tucked at corners. Agents in hoodies doing casual laps around the block. I watched through my blinds as 2 agents in plain clothes approached Linda's door. They knocked politely and flashed their IDs when she answered. I couldn't hear them, but I saw her body stiffen. Her arms flailed, her face turned beet red, then bone white, when one agent flashed what had to be a warrant. They followed her inside. 15 minutes later, they came out with my package, still sealed tight in its tamper-proof bag, plus a handful of clear evidence bags. And they weren't done. 2 marked vehicles rolled in. Half the HOA board gathered on the sidewalk, gaping like rubberneckers at a car wreck. Linda, clutching her bathrobe at her throat, tried to spin it loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is all a misunderstanding. I was protecting us from suspicious activity." The board members exchanged side eyes. Some started stepping back like she had the plague. Then, For the entire street to see, the lead agent turned to her and said loudly, "Linda Cartwright, you're under arrest for theft of government property, mail theft, and obstruction of federal operations." She squeaked, "But I'm the HOA president. I have authority." One agent deadpanned, "Ma'am, HOA authority stops at grass height. It does not cover federal mail." As they walked her to the black SUV in cuffs, she spun to the cluster of neighbors gawking at her downfall. "Call my lawyer. This is entrapment." But the looks on their faces told the truth. They were wondering how many of their missing packages she'd swiped, too. The next day, federal investigators were back, this time with clipboards and evidence bags. They interviewed every resident on my block, tracing stolen mail back 6 months. The numbers were jaw-dropping. Over 200 packages, from prescription refills to legal docs to birthday gifts for grandkids, gone. Some turned up months later in the HOA shed after residents jumped through her absurd retrieval form hoops. Many never reappeared. The kicker? They found a rented storage unit registered to Linda. Inside, towers of unopened boxes. She'd been hoarding them like a squirrel stashing nuts. Some neighbors sobbed when they found letters from deceased loved ones stuffed among the stolen goods. The investigation pieced together her twisted scheme. Linda had bullied the HOA board into granting her special security oversight. She wrote her own bylaw amendments, then donned a cheap postal uniform she'd ordered online. Delivery drivers, especially temps, were so spooked by her faux authority that they started dropping entire neighborhood deliveries with her forced sorting. She even kept meticulous spreadsheets, notes next to every stolen box like "Wait suspicious, hold for review." Ironically, her obsessive records were the prosecution's goldmine. My DOD box, labeled "Possible Security Threat, Open Weekend." She'd planned to tamper with federal comms hardware in her living room like it was a birthday gift. When word of the arrest hit Maple Ridge Village, it spread like wildfire. The emergency HOA meeting that night was standing room only. Robert Simons, the board treasurer, looked like he hadn't slept in a week. "We had no clue about the scope of this," he stammered. "She said she was protecting us." "You enabled her," someone shouted. "You never checked. You let her steal from us." The room erupted in furious demands. For refunds, for leadership resignations, for someone, anyone, to take responsibility. Meanwhile, feds linked Linda to similar stunts in 2 other neighborhoods. She'd been quietly forced out, each time under hush-hush circumstances. No charges ever stuck. Until now. Tom called me later that week. He couldn't stop laughing at her lawyer's claim that she'd been a patriotic guardian protecting America from suspicious Amazon packages. The prosecutor has the receipts, the video, the forged signatures. "She's toast," Tom said flatly. "They're hitting her with everything." The final charges were brutal. 27 counts of mail theft, 15 counts of identity fraud for faked package sign-offs, 1 count of theft of government property, 1 count of unauthorized possession of classified materials, 3 counts of wire fraud, and a racketeering charge, since she basically ran a microcrime ring from her HOA throne. Her lawyer tried for a plea deal. The feds laughed them out of the building. 3 months later, Linda shuffled into sentencing in an orange jumpsuit, a far cry from her pressed pantsuits and pearl earrings. The judge didn't hold back. "Ms. Cartwright, you abused your position, violated your neighbor's trust, and endangered national security. This court takes that very seriously." He leaned forward, voice icy calm. "I sentence you to 15 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. You're ordered to pay $375,000 in restitution and an additional $50,000 in federal fines." Her knees buckled. Her lawyer caught her elbow as she croaked. 15 years? The judge didn't flinch. "Bailiff, take her away." They marched Linda Cartwright out of that courtroom, past neighbors who wouldn't even look her in the eye. She mumbled, "I was trying to protect you all, but no one cared anymore." Her perfectly trimmed hedges at house number 44, already overgrown, a "for sale" sign stabbed into her front lawn. Her husband filed for divorce the day after she was arrested, claimed he'd rather lose the house than keep her name. As for me, I still work for the feds from the same home office, secure deliveries intact. The HOA voted in new leadership and rewrote the bylaw that let one woman run a mini-kingdom unchecked. And my neighbors? They keep a closer eye on their mailboxes now, but they know if anything shady ever happens again, we won't let it fester behind garden flags and fake security committees. I still get government shipments. They arrive in armored trucks these days. I sign for them myself. Linda Cartwright tried to be the self-appointed guardian of Maple Ridge Village and ended up in federal prison. I guess some people just can't resist opening packages that never belonged to them.